Their defense has hit its stride over the past several weeks. What's been going right?
Yeah, this is starting to look like one of those great Steeler defenses of old, isn't it? It's maybe not the steel curtain just yet, but it's looking pretty good with T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, Devin Bush, and, of course, Minkah Fitzpatrick and others. One of the keys has been the turnovers that they've been forcing. They come into tonight on a 4-game win streak, the Steelers do, and during those 4 games, they forced 14 turnovers. Looking at the season as a whole, only the Patriots have forced more turnovers than the Steelers. And oh, by the way, they're also third in the NFL in sacks. So Browns head coach Freddie Kitchens describes the challenge of going up against the defense like this. He says the front 7 applies a lot of pressure to the quarterback, forces the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands faster than he'd like to. And then the secondary, in addition to being talented, Kitchens says it's obvious looking at the tape that they do a lot of homework and tendencies and knowing where the ball is going. And he especially singled out Minkah Fitzpatrick. So the formula's simple. It's sacks plus turnovers equals big problems for opposing offenses.
Randy, that defense is like a thoroughbred that Bob Baffert would be proud of. And you mentioned the turnovers. They have been an issue for the Browns this season. You know I always go equestrian with you. Does Baker Mayfield have a plan? How can he possibly counteract that Steelers defense with the way he's been giving the ball away this season?
You're right. The turnovers and penalties have been 2 big issues for the Browns. After Week 8, they led the NFL in penalty yardage, not what you want to be, and they were second in turnovers. Now, as far as the turnovers go, maybe they've started to turn the corner because each of the last 2 weeks they've been turnover-free, but that's obviously going to be a challenge against these Steelers tonight. One of the focuses for tonight that suddenly really reared its head last Sunday against the Bills is the goal line offense. Against the Bills Sunday, in the first and second quarters alone, the Browns ran 11 plays from either the 1, the 2, or the 3-yard line. Now, a couple of those, they drew pass interference in the end zone trying to get it to OBJ, but still, 11 plays, no touchdowns. Nick Chubb, 6 carries, minus 4 yards. Right down there on the goal line. So one of the focuses tonight, if they get in that situation again, they say is the offensive line winning those one-on-one matchups down there tight.
And we know, speaking of their defensive line, their pass rush, you have to look at Myles Garrett tonight. Nobody talks about him, but he has double-digit sacks. He's sitting there with 10 on the season, and he'll surely help the Browns facing Mason Rudolph and company tonight at home in Cleveland. Thank you so much, Randy Moss. We'll talk to you throughout the morning here on GMFB and on NFL Network, all leading on to kickoff. It's the Steelers taking on the Browns in a Thursday night divisional battle. We're going to break it all down with Pittsburgh and Cleveland. It's called the Throwdown Thursday. I went deep there.
Yeah, nice. Not bad. It's very white over here. 2
of the league's top receivers will take the field tonight. Both have been struggling to put up numbers that were expected from them this season. I'd like to know, Kyle, looking at you, which wideout needs to have a bigger game tonight? JuJu, Smith-Schuster, or Odell Beckham?
2 great showmen. And, you know, most of the attention seems to go to Odell, but I'm actually going to go with JuJu here. You know, if you look at the Browns, they have 2 quality wins. They beat Buffalo and they beat Baltimore. And both of those wins, Odell kind of didn't really do anything. Like, the numbers are really small. It was Chubb here, Chubb here. I think JuJu, on the other hand, is really going to need to get it off with Mason Rudolph the way he's playing. It's kind of a pick'em, but the best Browns we've seen are not the Odell Beckham Browns. I'm going to go with JuJu.
I'm going with OBJ. You know, and just because of last week, Jarvis was so involved in the game plan. And it's not that OBJ wasn't, because they targeted him a lot. Jarvis had himself a day. And I know because they have that relationship, Jarvis is walking into this week saying, of course I want my numbers, but you being one of my best friends, I want you to go off as well. And hopefully Baker Mayfield, Freddie Kitchens, they can dial up something to get him involved. But there needs to be creative. It can't be just drop back and Odell, you run really far and we'll throw the ball in the air. Let's show some creativity behind the line of scrimmage in the pre-snap to help Odell get open. That complements his skill set.
What I love about JuJu Smith-Schuster this season is that his numbers are significantly down than previous years, but they've won 4 games in a row. They're feeling hot. You don't hear from him. He's just happy. Like, Odell is the rare superstar that was in New York that like took the city by storm. But JuJu is the rare superstar wide receiver that seems to just care about the W's. Like, this might affect his contract negotiations. It might affect his fantasy value. He doesn't seem to care. I would like to see JuJu Smith-Schuster used more, but to be honest, I think Odell needs to be used more for Odell to be the same guy that he's been. JuJu doesn't seem to care. He seems to be just happy getting wins.
Great point on JuJu there. I think the same thing. Every time I see him in a post game, you know, after a win, he's just like, I just want to win. I want to be happy. We haven't heard any sort of squeaky wheel gets the grease out of him. Okay, they're on Thursday, round 2.
What do you got?
Looking at the sidelines for each of these squads. Both head coaches are some of the biggest personalities in the NFL. So I'm asking you 3. Which head coach has the more vibrant personality? Mike Tomlin or Freddie Kitchens?
All right, so I'm going to take you to the NFL Draft Scouting Combine each year. You've got a podium, and the coaches come up one by one. And you know if you're getting, I don't know, Pat Shurmur or Sean McDermott, it's like, all right, here's going to be some football. But when Freddie Kitchens strolls up to that podium, it's like, all right, kick back. Let's see what we've got, because it could be anything. Tomlin's all ball, but Tomlin's got that glimmer in his eye, and he can talk. But Freddie Kitchens, you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. He's just 1 year into this thing, and as far as who I'm lining up to hear in a press conference, give me that guy, Freddie Kitchens.
Oh, nah, Strays. I mean, I like me some Freddie Kitchens, but he ain't Mike. Barack Tomlin.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
Go ahead, then, Nate.
I could just imagine him talking to his team saying, "Well, we don't have, or AB, we don't have Le'Veon. Big Ben is hurt. Can we still make the playoffs? Yes, we can. And the team is going to follow suit. Yeah, we got hope. Mason Rudolph is going. But I like the fact that every time Mike Tomlin gets up there, he just says, he has every buzzword in the book. Every buzzword, he's going to say it. And after a while, you're just like, I don't really know if he answered my question, but I'm cool with it. Good job, Mike.
I think all of that would really annoy me, but for some reason, when Tomlin's up there saying it, I'm in. Like, I'm watching the whole thing, just the way he says it.
Yeah, I mean, there's more to a big personality than being a good old boy with some one-liners. You know, there's more to it. And I look tonight as we see the Reservoir Dog Pound. I think that Freddie Kitchens is Mr. Pink, the funny one, but Mr. Blonde is the crazy one with the big personality and that sort of seething, deep intensity. And the fact is, allegedly, Mike Tomlin tried to trip a player on the field once. It takes a lot of personality to do that, and he paid for it. So I would go with Tomlin.
We already talked about Paul Reiser. Should we do a celebrity matchup?
Of course.
For our third round of Throwdown Thursday. Okay, between the Steelers and the Browns, repping Pittsburgh is a man who taught us every rose. You know, every rose has a thorn. Yeah. You know, Brett Michaels. And for the Browns, it's the guy who always knows the right price. Drew Carey, who is just the better celebrity fan. Pittsburgh's Brett Michaels or Cleveland's Drew Carey. Look at Tomlin's photo in there. Oh, you don't
Fantastic.
see it.
I mean, go ahead, Nate.
I'm going to go with Drew Carey. I mean, listen, Drew is a legend when it comes to just the entertainment world.
Yeah.
But on a personal note, he's also one of the owners of the Sounders, which, you know, is where I'm from. So him bringing soccer to Seattle. And you know what? I loved Whose Line Is It Anyway? I still think it's one of the greatest shows ever. So I'm going with Drew Carey.
What do you got, Peter? I bet $1 million what you're about to say right now. $1 million that I don't have. I'll bet you right now. Go.
I'm going to go Drew Carey.
Yeah! Pay me. So
Pay the man.
predictable, dude. Pay this
Carey.
man.
Hey, we love Price is Right. I love the Drew Carey show. Cleveland rocks.
You know what? I love Drew Carey. Every night, my mom would watch Whose Line Is It Anyway? Every night.
Yeah.
But every night has its dawn, all right? And every cowboy sings a sad, sad song, especially when they lose to Kirk Cousins at home. I saw Poison in like 2000 when I was in college, like after the party had stopped.
Before the dating show?
Oh, yeah, no, before the dating show. It was in Jersey. I'm telling you,
was that
the
song- that show
opening
called?
bars of Every Rose, the second the guitar hits, every dude and every girl just immediately start making out.
Yeah,
It's the all-time make-out song, and for that, as much as I love Price is Right, I'm not making out to Price is Right. But they do Every Rose Has a Thorn. It's on.
Have you played
Banaka City,
Plinko
baby.
lately?
What was that show called?
City.
Rock of Love.
Oh, the show.
What it was.
Yeah. That
what
was
it
something.
called. Yeah, that was certainly something. Well,
something.
Thursday night we will
Skinny
have
Bob.
something. We've got the Steelers and the Browns. It's obviously must-see TV tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, though, to check out NFL's Instagram story for game day play-by-play presented by Oakley. This is what I look at on my way to work in the morning, throughout the night, watching the game. You get not only what happens on the field, but all of the behind-the-scenes action on game day. They do a tremendous job, so definitely check out NFL's IG story during the game. More Good Morning Football just ahead. They face off on Sunday. Who would you rather have as your franchise QB, Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both.
And joining us next, a Pro Bowl wide receiver from the Bears, Allen Robinson, hanging out with us.